Welcome to Genuine Nonsense. I'm Kelly MacFarland, your host. This is our first show. Thank you so much to MB Studios for hosting this show, and also for just being like way open for me to have a show. I'm excited about it. I love the format of the show. I think you're all going to love the format of the show. I'm in a nook in my office right now because I live with other people, my family, and I'm really, really excited that we're going to, that way, this way, right here. That's me. Brilliant logo by MacFarland at 2MB Studios. And I'm really excited for us to get started. So this show's going to work the way you'd expect a talk show to work. Okay, so let me be clear. This show is going to be me talking a lot. If you don't know me, then you can go to my website if you want to. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. I'm Kelly MacFarland. I'm a comedian. I'm based in Boston, and I'm a writer and a ridiculous human being. I'm very silly. I'm so silly that when I met with the producers of the show and gave them my ideas, they were actually really down. They were into it and excited. We love the format, and we hope that you'll like it too. This show's going to start like a lot of talk shows. I'm going to give you a little deep dive into who I am at the top of every show. So a couple things that have been going on this week that I want to share with you. Let's see. I did an outside show. I'm a stand-up comedian, so I did an outside show at a drive-in. It was very fun. I did stand up on a big stage with lights, and people were in their cars, and the cars were honking and like flashing their lights. And I was very overstimulated, extremely overstimulated. It was very hard to kind of like stay focused. I get very excited like a child. I really do. I like get overwhelmed, and like I'm looking around and I want to see everyone. So it was kind of an interesting thing. It was really nice to be performing though, and like know that there were people there and I was getting a response. So that felt really good. This show, obviously, I have some folks that are going to be visiting. I have some guests. I'm very excited about it. And I definitely know that, or hope that you'll be commenting and adding to the show. So whatever you want to say or do, you can. Positivity, welcome. I'm here for the corn dog and the taco talk. Listen, let's talk about this thing. Matt Fear, my producer, can you put that up again? Right here, the logo. Yeah, the logo. So the logo is interesting. We can unpack the logo. Let's do it. So that is me. I mean, could I look more like that? Probably with better lighting. I'm a coffee addict. I love coffee. I love the taste of it. I like the action of drinking coffee with other people. I like to go somewhere and meet people for coffee. I like to wake up in the morning and make coffee. Like, I'm into it. I love all of that. So the coffee is a huge piece of my life. Tacos are the best food that's ever been invented, next to buffalo wings. Tacos are delicious. I make them with ground turkey and put them in the oven to toast them up and get that cheese melty. Okay? You got to toast them up, get that cheese melty. That's how you do it. I love those. I'm into hard or soft shell. Bring it all. Let's see. There's a microphone because I do stand-up comedy and speaking, and I love it so much. Dateline is my jam. Keith Morrison is my hall pass. I love Netflix because if I could stay home all the time and just watch shows, I would. And RuPaul's Drag Race is the best thing that's ever been on television. RuPaul actually is the best human being in the world. And I would go anywhere to see RuPaul. And that corn dog, well, first let's talk about the dog, shall we? Let's talk about the actual dog. There's a dog wearing a party hat. That is Gracie the Husky. She's actually a real dog. Like, I know it's a real dog, but I'm saying like, it's a dog that I really know. Like that dog exists. This was at her birthday, and it's actually my producer Matt's dog, Gracie. And then the corn dog, Matt just threw the corn dog in there. And I don't know if Matt's been reading my diary, but I don't hate a corn dog. I like a corn dog. I've only had a few corn dogs in my life. An interesting fun fact about me, I'm from Maine, and in Maine, we have red hot dogs. They're red and they snap. You can get them in New England. If you know what a red hot dog is, chime in on the comments because they are the best. We're not going to unpack Keith Morrison as your hall pass. We're just going to breeze right over that. Thank you, Danielle. I don't want to talk about him too much because I gush over him so much. Keith Morrison is right up there with Dr. Fauci for me. I think what I've discovered during the pandemic is I have a thing for silver foxes. Like I like older, more distinguished, and I want to be clear, I like older, more distinguished people. I find them very attractive. Humans, like older humans. I find that as we age, we obsess over what we look like, right? And if you're not obsessing, good for you. You're probably hiking or riding a bike or kayaking. And I appreciate you because you're finding the beauty in the wilderness, right? For me and a lot of the folks that I know, we don't go outside a lot. We're not outside dogs. So we start to look and worry and whatever. What I've realized though is that I appreciate the way someone who has aged well looks. And I like it. Yes, Dr. Fauci. Look at how adorable he is. I mean, he is wearing tiny little glasses. He's wearing a shirt and tie with a suit coat. He's smart. He also just got a polyp removed from his throat. And I don't know this because I follow him around. I just like to know what's going on with him. And his voice now is baller. It is so sexy. Keith Morrison's voice, also super sexy. He's like very condescending with like a knowing tone. And I love that. So he's my hall pass. Fauci is also a hall pass. I have it laminated. My husband's fine with it. I really am excited to get started. I do want to show you one thing before I get going with my first guest, which I'm super excited about. Now, I recently got a gift, and I don't know how many people are still getting random gifts, right? Like I have some really lovely people in my life who give me the gift of friendship and love and compassion, right? And honestly, when I get a physical gift, I always kind of feel a little weird, right? I have a friend, Liz Roderick, gave me a gift recently, and it was the most lovely gift that I've ever received. It is this commissioned, here, I'll hold it in front of the camera. It's this commissioned piece of artwork with Dolly Parton. And she gave me a card, which I framed. It says, "What would Dolly do?" And I've been keeping it on my desk because Dolly Parton is kind. She is supportive. And she's also like really kind of an interesting person her whole career. And I love her. I love Dolly Parton. And Liz wrote to me in the card and said that Dolly lights up a room and so do you. And I was like, that is the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me ever. So I love it so much. So if you see something for someone and it makes you think of them and brings you joy, remember how much my Dolly Parton gift meant to me. So I wanted to share that with you and say a public thank you to Liz Roderick for my very thoughtful gift. I haven't hung it up yet because I wanted to show it on my show. Excellent. All right. Let's get started and keep this party moving, I guess. I also want to tell you that I'm a middle-aged woman. So yes, Dolly is such a badass. So I may look youthful. No, but I say a lot of old-timey things. I also am going to try to see how long I can go in the show without swearing. So I'm excited about that. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to fucking do it, but I blew it already. I did it. All right. let's get started. I'm so excited. The way this show works is like this. I'm going to have my first guest is a guest that I booked. My second guest is a guest that the producers booked. And let's start with the guest that I booked. I cannot say enough kind words about this person. I met her when we were doing stand-up. We were baby stand-up comedians. And she is now an author, a speaker, a humorist, a comedian. She is, I mean, she's a featured commentator on Fox and Friends. And her life has just been a whirlwind of wonderful things. And she's here with us tonight, my very good friend, Karith Foster.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, my love.
Hi.
Hi.
Karith Foster, I'm so glad to see you because we have distance between us. We don't, physical distance between us. Yes. How are you doing? Let's ask that question first.
I'm fantastic. I have to interject because I love that you like have a hall pass, and I know this is your first show.
Yeah.
But I think you should ask every guest that you book who their hall pass is.
I'm going to write it down because I think you're right.
Seriously, I think you'll be surprised at the answers you get.
Well, who's your hall pass?
So if he was still alive, it would be Peter Jennings.
Oh,
I always had a thing for news anchors. Like that was just my thing.
Yep, same.
But since he's no longer with us, God rest his soul, it's Pierce Brosnan.
I mean, that's a good one. Tell me, did you love him in Thomas Crown Affair?
Forget Thomas Crown. Let's go back to Remington Steele. Okay, you want to talk about looking young but being old?
Oh,
Remington Steele, hello.
Excuse me, mic drop. Yeah, I would agree with you. You know who else I really had a crush on? Jack Tripper.
Really?
Yes, from Three's Company. Yeah, if we're going,
he was too goofy for me. I needed someone a little more straight-laced and serious. And Pierce had the British accent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and that's my thing for news anchors too. Like, you know, then I was Tom Brokaw. I did like Tom Brokaw.
Tom Brokaw. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was almost on Dateline.
You tell me everything. I'm glad you're alive.
My husband and 2 children and I, while we were looking for a house in Texas, we had to live with my parents. And if we did not get out of there when we did, we would have ended up on Dateline because somebody would have killed somebody. So
yes. So let's back up. Let's talk about this. So Karith, you have a spouse, and he is affectionately referred to as
the Aussie.
The Aussie.
Yes.
So Thomas Crown Affair was definitely part of my sexual awakening. Yes, Radish Brett, I agree. So the Aussie, he is Australian and wonderful. Let's just start with that. You two have a foundation. Talk about the foundation.
Sure. So we have a nonprofit organization called FRAME that stands for Foster Russell Alliance for Meaningful Expression. And our mission is to take programming that promotes free speech, inclusion, and social change to college and university campuses.
Now, when we met, we were just doing stand-up in bars and hanging out, and you know, you wore a cowboy hat, and I had the same haircut, and I had the same haircut. I had bangs.
You did have bangs.
I had bangs. So, and then you totally took off in this direction. I mean, I don't want to gush over you too much because I know you get a little modest. I mean, you went to Oxford. You are a smart cookie. Like you're a businesswoman. You are funny, and you really were. I want to say, for me, my first interaction when inclusion and diversity started to become a thing on college campuses, because we were both performing at colleges doing stand-up, and then you said, I'm actually gonna do this new thing, and I'm really excited about it. And now, I mean, you're like someone that people are turning to get more information.
And I'm honored and thrilled to be that person. Because I think we need to rethink how we're having this conversation. I want to believe with all of my heart that everyone who is in the diversity and inclusion realm is doing so because they want to make the world a better place. But just because you want that to happen, if the methodology you're using creates more division and polarization, then you're going to have the opposite effects, which is why I coined the term inversity, because it's a nod to acknowledging our history and our experiences and what we bring to the table as individuals, but shifting the focus from what separates and divides us to what do we have in common? How can we be truly inclusive of one another? But most importantly, and I think this is really key, being introspective, right? Understanding your value, your worth, your connection to humanity. Because when you can see those things in yourself, then you can see them in someone else. So a lot of this programming is about working from the outside in. This is about working from the inside out.
I love that so much. It makes sense too that if you start with yourself, then it's going to spread, right? It's going to go everywhere, which is wonderful. And you do it with this humorous spin that sets everybody at ease, right? You and I have had many conversations about inclusion and diversity and different voices and being represented. I mean, early on, you were hustling and doing things that were showcasing female voices, right? And I think that is, I mean, this has been your life's calling, I feel like.
You're right. No, it is. Yeah. It's without question. I have married my passion and my purpose, and I feel so blessed to have been able to do that. And like you said, the power of comedy and the power of humor. Yeah. I mean, you can't be, and who wants to be lectured at? Who wants to be talked down to or told this is how you have to think or how you have to be? You know what? Let's, first of all, the point of comedy, period, is to make fun of the absurdity of things like racism and sexism and homophobia and all the stuff that we think separates us. And you know what? That's all surface stuff anyway. It's all surface stuff. And if we can be brought to a place where we're not on the offense, we're not on the defense, but we can be in a neutral state to have these sometimes uncomfortable conversations, but necessary ones, then we can move to a higher plane, to another level, and we can really engage with each other. Because we're human beings. There is no other race. Like, I hate when people talk about races. Well, that race did this and that. Human beings, that's it. There's no other races, really.
Right. It's human to human. I mean, I feel like I say that a lot, and I, you know, it's interesting, right? Because I feel like you're such a special individual because I mean, you know, my dirtiest secrets, right? Like, you know my deep darks, because we have that kind of friendship. And now that we're older, and I mean, you have two beautiful girls. They're the most beautiful children, and I love them. I would encourage you to follow Karith Foster at Karith Foster. These two they're the biggest hams I've ever met in my whole life. They're so wonderful and smart and like interesting, right? And they see the world the way that you are teaching people to see the world. And I just think it's such a wonderful thing.
They're fun. They miss school. They miss having friends. So we took them to play tennis the other day. And afterwards, the younger one wanted to play Duck, Duck, Goose. And my husband's like, I don't even know this game. I'm like, yes, you do. Didn't they have it in Australia? And the older guy goes, no, mommy. They probably had kangaroo, koala.
Oh, no.
So
is that what you're playing in your house now? You're like, kangaroo?
We have to Aussie it up a little bit every now and then.
It must be so slow. Kangaroo, kangaroo, koala.
Yeah, the koalas are high as kites. So,
well, I mean, will you tell the girls that Kelly, the Boston Kelly, said that it should be walla, walla, wallaby, and then they should, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about your book. So you just had a book come out. Yeah. Oh, my book? My book? Did I write a book?
What do you mean? You mean this?
Yes, you wrote a book. Now, listen, I want to tell people you can get this book on Amazon. Yes. You can. I got it back in June when it came out, and I got it on Kindle, and you immediately today were like, I'll send you a hard copy. It's so fun and so wonderful. And tell me about the core of this book. Like, when you went to write this book, and you said to me once when you were writing the book that you had been thinking about this book for a long time, and now it's here. So tell everybody what.
I just saw a Facebook post I'd written 7 years ago when the idea came to me. It took 7 years. So I want anybody to know, if you have a passion for something,
Right.
we're not on a timeline, but you can be perfect or you can be happy is the title of the book.
Yes.
And that was something a friend said to me when I was really struggling. I was a new mom. I was dealing with a lot of stress. And, the heavens should have opened up and a chorus of angels should have sung. But it was just like, oh, what a really nice thing to say. Thanks for trying to comfort me with that. But it always stuck with me. Like in the back of my head, I thought, you can be perfect, you can be happy. And it's a choice, right? It's a choice. And the reality is there's no such thing as perfect. But how much of my life had I spent trying to be perfect? Trying to be the perfect friend, the perfect daughter, the perfect student, the perfect intern, the perfect employee, the perfect girlfriend. So much about, and at what cost? At the cost of my confidence, at the cost of definitely some money, at the cost of peace, and mostly at the cost of happiness. Like I lost the ability to have areas of my life where I was really happy because I was trying so hard to be something that doesn't even exist. There's no such thing as perfection. We may be shown images of it from TV and movies and social media, but it's not the truth. It's not real.
Right. I wish that you had written this book when we were 30.
So do I. I wish we had written this book and I read it when I was like 17.
Yes, this book is what I like. Yes, what I like about the book is that I feel like it's for anyone that's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And the trick is I'm going to say this right into the camera. We'll let you in on the secret. Will you come closer with me for a second, Karith? Just a little bit closer. No one knows what they're doing. No one knows, especially now. Like no one knows what they're doing. And so even my parents who should, you would think when you hit a certain age, you know exactly what you want in life and you're just going to go do it and it's going to be fine. That is not it. No one knows what they're doing. And that's why you have to become a student of life, right? Yeah. Like I realize this is a late night talk show and we're supposed to be raunchy and whatever. And I'm sure we'll get there. For now, just know that I feel like when I think of you, and again, follow Karith Foster at Karith Foster, go to karith.com for more information. She speaks all over the country. Check out news listings because you are always on the news, I feel like, giving commentary. And I love it because your message is always the same: positive and be a student of life. That's what I would say about you.
Thank you. Sure. You nailed it. I mean, you know me so well.
I do.
How many hotel rooms have we shared? How many? My God. I mean, I was just telling somebody the other day about our was it Tribble Run when we did the Pacific Northwest, and we were like, at a comedy club in Montana, and had like a stabbing like the night before.
Yeah,
there's still blood on the ground. We have been through more together.
Yes,
it's
Mechanical Bulls. We were paid in steaks. We were. Yeah, we went to Montana. We were in Montana, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington.
Yep.
And you're right. We were in a minivan with 2 other comedians.
Yep.
And we drove everywhere. And sometimes you put headphones on and you cry in the back seat and you can't believe this is your life. And then other times, you have too much to drink and you ride a mechanical bull and you get flung off.
It happens.
Yeah, or we run to the car when the show is over because we're pretty sure that Keith Morrison is going to have to tell a story about us. In a sleepy Montana town, 4 comedians found in a Dodge Caravan. Yeah, we've had such great adventures, and I am so excited to watch you go on from here with your next adventures.
Can I give your audience a free gift?
Yes.
So it's a perfection assessment quiz.
Okay.
All right. And there actually, you get an answer with like a video of me, like telling you just kind of where you lie on the perfectionism scale and like how to enhance what you're doing. So it's so simple. It's my email. It's karith.com /quiz.
Oh my gosh. Karith.com /quiz.
I know it might be / I don't know. I don't get
whatever the slash is. I know.
Whatever the slash is. You know how the slash is supposed to go.
Matt's smart. He knows stuff. There you go. All right. And this gives them a perfectionist
assessment.
Perfectionist assessment.
It takes like 90 seconds too, because you just go through and you click like, oh, do I do that? Yep. Do I do that?
Yep.
No. Do I do that?
All
yep.
right.
Okay. I mean, you kind of see where you are on the level of like, as a perfectionist, where you fall.
I have to ask. Well, that's wonderful. I love that gift for all of the people watching this. I have to ask, are you going to do your book in audio? Are you going to do?
Yes, that is coming. I promise, because I know
I'm very excited.
Want to like listen to while they walk and do their thing, and it will be in my voice. Like I can't have anybody else write this, because I think if you like, as you read it, you like everybody I've talked to, even people who do not know me but have now met me through my book, are like, I felt like I was having a conversation with you.
Right.
That's how it was supposed to feel. Like
yes,
this is not your normal, regular self-help book. Because again, I'm not going to lecture anybody. I mean, if anything, this book is like note to self to me. I'm just sharing it with the world so that if you by chance have the opportunity to not stress the way I did, avoid some of the mistakes or not, and I don't use the word mistakes, but the maybe the missteps or wasting of time, or you know what I mean, but just maybe being able to get to your happy faster. Yes. Like use this as a shortcut. Oh my God, I wish somebody had given this to me. Seriously, my life would have been so different.
The roadmap to life happiness.
Yeah,
like it's going to give you the shortcut that you're looking for.
And let me be very clear. Like I'm not saying like happiness is as individual as we are. And while happiness is a choice, there is a caveat. And that caveat is that happiness is not a constant. And that's okay. Because you know who's supposed to be, nobody's happy all the time. Like that's ridiculousness.
I'm suspicious of people who are happy all the time.
You should be, because like they're not living a real life. They are either high, they're you know, or they're married to Ryan Reynolds or Idris Elba. But Jason Momoa. Otherwise.
Oh my God, I want to scale him like a tree. Like he is. Every time I see him, I can't. Matt, can we get a picture of him? Aquaman.
Oh, are you kidding?
My God. And he's married to
Lisa Bonet.
I mean,
I know
that. This is probably totally inappropriate. Where's that sex tape?
Hello.
Like seriously,
it's too steamy. They couldn't release it. It's too much.
They recorded it and it caught on fire.
It did. It spontaneously combusted from the hot.
It was like. Karith, you are lovely and wonderful. Are you going to stay on the virtual couch?
I'm going to hang out. I want to see this. You are like one of my best favorite people on this planet. I mean, I'm here to support you, and I'm here to watch out.
We're in love. We're in love with each other, and. Of course, I can't believe that you've been in this room and an Aussie or two girls have not come in yet.
I locked the door.
Oh, they always come in. Every time you're doing
naked
anything.
Behind me. No, somebody's naked somewhere in my house. So I locked the door just to, you know, I didn't want to break any Facebook policies.
You're fine. You're fine. Okay, great. So this is, there he is.
There he is.
My gosh. My gosh. Your husband has hair like that, by the way.
He does.
Yeah, you have a type.
Listen, my husband's hot. I'm not saying I don't have a hot husband.
Sure.
Maybe that's why I have this thing for Jason Momoa. I prefer my husband, although if Jason Momoa wanted to buy me a cup of coffee, I would not turn it down.
I would meet him for a latte outside without a shirt. My husband.
You without a shirt or him without a shirt?
Look, if it's shirts and skins, I mean, I'm yelling shirts. My husband doesn't have hair, so I don't know what this is saying about my needs. My husband is wonderful and lovely. Okay.
Adorable. Your husband is so great.
He is a loving, wonderful human. KarithFoster.com /
No, just Karith.com.
Karith, I don't know why I do that. It's been Karith.com for 20 years. Karith.com. Karith, thank you so much. And Karith's book is available on Amazon. And actually, you have your other book is out there too. Your first book.
It is. It's kind of in the ether right now. Yes. The physical copies are like they've all got sold out. And I'm like, no, this is the focus.
We sold them on that Tribble tour.
There you go.
Out of a suitcase. We were like, want a book?
Where I got the population of Black people in Idaho up to 8. You remember that? You remember that?
Did. They actually said that to you, didn't they? They're like, we don't get a lot of Black people here. And I was like, why do you have a Southern accent? And then I held your hand the entire time, and we pet cows. So,
You thought we're dogs?
We did. We were like, look at those dogs. Those are cows.
What are dogs doing on the...
Oh my God, what a crazy. If I could go back and do that again, I would, and I would do it differently. Oh, Karith, you're delightful, and I love you, and you're going to hang out on the virtual couch, so I'm excited. Great. All right, let's bring our next guest on. This is very exciting. So, as I said at the top of the show, the way this show works is I book a guest, and then the producers book a guest for me, and I don't know who it is. I have no idea. We held true to that all day long. I wasn't told anything about this person, and this segment is called "It's So Nice to Meet You."
Hello,
Kevin McGuire.
Kevin McGuire.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you. How do I follow that, for God's sake? Oh,
Listen.
I love you so much, and I love you so much. Here's my book. I don't have a book. I don't have anything to sell.
Now, Kevin, this is where it's going to get exciting. Kevin, so nice to meet you.
Yes.
Tell me who you are.
I am Kevin McGuire. No, I'm
Perfect.
Santa Claus. I'm actually Santa Claus. You should have booked me on your Christmas show. Right?
Are you Santa Claus?
Well, you're looking at me going, look, he looks like Santa Claus a little bit, Kevin.
I mean, I don't know if you've been watching the show.
I have.
So far, we have a thing for gentlemen of a certain age. So Santa's my third hall pass. So
wow. Yeah, no, I've loved the show so far.
Thank you.
Both of you.
So
and it's
Kevin,
a love fest. I love that. It's so positive. It's so nice.
I know
I live in New York.
Okay, great. That's going to be one of my questions.
I'm in my apartment right now. I'm an actor.
Yes.
Singer. I've done several Broadway shows. I am a friend of one of the producers of the show.
Well, Benjamin Scurria, right?
Benjamin Scurria.
Benjamin Scurria.
Fabulously talented Ben Scurria.
I mean, speaking of talented people, Ben is, be still my heart. Kevin, please tell me what shows you've been in.
I was in Les Miserables. Actually, I did Les Miserables in Boston at the Schubert, the first company.
Amazing.
Yeah. And Phantom of the Opera, Secret Garden, Jane Eyre. I've done some plays. I've done a lot of plays all over the country. I'm a theater actor. I'm a theater guy. I ran a theater company. I was the artistic director of a company for a while, but I have not written a book.
Oh, it's okay. You have time. It took Karith 7 years to write that book.
My time is short. My time is limited.
I want to ask you. It's not. I have a good vibe about you. I feel like you're with us a long time. My question for you next is, where are you from? Are you from New York City originally, and you still live there?
No, I'm from a little town in upstate New York called Hoosick Falls. It's just on the Vermont border.
Okay.
On Route 7. It's near Bennington, Vermont, and Saratoga Springs, New York.
Ooh, I love Saratoga Springs. Have you been to Hat-tastic?
Oh yeah. So when did you go to Saratoga?
So there was a comedy club there. I think it's still there, actually. And I have performed at that comedy club, as well as a few places around the area. And Hat-tastic or Hat-sational, I think is what it's technically called.
I think that's right.
Yes, yeah. It's a wonderful store that's just dedicated to hats.
Yeah.
It's all in the title, really.
So, but you did a comedy show there?
No, I wish I did a comedy show at Hat-tastic or Hat-sational, because let me tell you, those people, when you're trying on a fancy hat, you feel like laughing.
That's right. You could put a hat on and be a different character.
That's right.
Sort of improv-y.
Yes. Growing up in that area, did you? I mean, this is going to sound really crazy. Since you're so close to Saratoga Springs, were you involved with horses at all as a child?
No.
Great. That went nowhere for us. Kevin, Kevin, we drove down a path and I took you on it, and it did not end with a gallop.
He's terrible at improv. He's a great actor. Terrible at improv. No, yes,
I didn't. I mean, did I go to the races? I did a few times, but I didn't really have anything to do with horses. I love horses, but I just like from afar. You know,
Yes.
I didn't really get involved with the horses.
How are you in New York City now? Karith lived in New York City, I think, for many, many years. She was in Harlem. Yeah. And how are things in the city right now?
Well, I mean, I think what's happened here is that all of the wonderful things about living in New York have sort of disappeared. They're coming back slowly, like museums, and the theater's not back, and this breaks my heart. It's very sad. So I don't have any work, and that's tough. And all of the things that are really not good about living in a city like New York are sort of exacerbated and kind of blown up in a way that's hard to take. I mean, I don't want to be a downer. You guys are
no, you're not at all.
We're people, but I mean, just to be perfectly honest, and it's so impressive what's happened with COVID in terms of getting it under control. And I was in a show. We opened on Tuesday and closed on Thursday, and got incredible reviews, and it was selling out, and it was like, yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking. And you know, you look around and you think, wow, what has happened? It's apocalyptic in some weird way. New York, it'll come back, of course.
Yeah,
you know, it will, because it has to, but it's been very, very difficult. And although the COVID is totally under control.
Right. I love when you say it will come back because it has to. And I think while I'm not a stage actor, I am a performer, right? As a comedian, and Karith as a comedian and a humorist and a speaker, you feel like a piece of you is kind of gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, I had a little bit of a breakdown like a month ago, and I said, I don't really know who I am right at this moment. Like, I don't know who I am or what I'm supposed to do. And I feel like a little bit of a void, and my heart is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree. It's, you know, I've been doing this for 40 years, 41, solid. This in March is the first time I ever applied for unemployment.
Same.
I'm an actor. That's incredible. I mean, I'm not blowing my own horn. I'm just saying.
That's impressive.
It's unheard of, actually.
It's unheard of. And the fact that there is no possibility of working, there's no possibility of work. Being in a union that is 100% unemployed is daunting, scary, and it's keeping me awake at night.
I mean, I think you've got your book ready to write.
Yeah, I should probably sit down and write it. I've had quite a life.
So I want to ask you, when you were,
I call it No Horses.
No horses, just juleps.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, so when did you start acting? Were you a little one and you started? Yes.
Yeah. When I was in first grade, I was in a Christmas show at the St. Mary's Academy School in Hoosick Falls, New York. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And just, were you hooked right away?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was like 5 and I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm going to do. Because I got into a lot of trouble and I really felt like I could get into good trouble on the stage.
Yes. Agreed. Same. That resonates with me.
Good, like bad things, and people thought it was funny and laughed. And
were you a good student?
Yeah.
You were a good student. Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, I didn't work that hard. I wish I had worked harder, but I kind of always knew what I wanted to do. And I think that makes a big difference. I think that, if you have a goal for yourself and you can see it, you can get there. If you sort of don't know exactly what you want to do, and it takes you a long time, and then you end up kind of like mucking around in the murk of life,
Yes.
And I think that, and it's okay to make, decide you want to do something and then change it. But it's good to know what you want. And I knew very early.
And did you decide that you were going to just go acting straight away, or did you go to college? Did you take lessons?
No, I did briefly, and then I went to London, and then I went to Circle in New York, and then I went to Juilliard.
Oh, you're like legit. Let me write a quick note to my friend Ben. Ben, really good guest. He is legit. I love him. I'm going to help him write his book.
Yeah,
I'm hooking him up with Karith.
I think Ben knows all this, but I've directed Ben a few times.
He's a brilliant actor.
Oh, he's wonderful. He's wonderful. And we were outside.
Yes.
We did Shakespeare outside, and he has this glorious voice. This sort of booming, fabulous voice when he's outside. He's the only person sometimes anyone could hear.
He's definitely has a presence about him, and his timing is so delightful.
Yeah,
it's really, really lovely. But back to you, Kevin McGuire.
Yes.
Back to you.
Okay.
So you've directed, you're an actor, you've done, I just want to repeat it for people that don't understand how impressive that is, that you have been a full-time actor for, did you say 41 years?
Yep.
And you have consistently worked for 41 years as an actor. I mean, the drive and stage acting, can we just point that out for a second? I think that movies are great, right? And I know a lot of people who are like, yeah, I've just been working as an extra for like the last 10 years. And that's great. That's great experience. Theater act, I mean, you are having to perform again and again and again, stamina, commitment to the craft. I mean, that's amazing.
Technique.
Yes.
But can I just say, Kevin, I'm impressed too as a performer, because I don't think people also understand the amount of times you actually do get told no for stuff.
Yeah.
So to be told no and be that persistent and consistent, oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's so true. You know, when I'm very sympathetic to people who, you know, get laid off and they have to leave their jobs or whatever. But I always, in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, try doing that every 10 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, this is scary. And you also have to have the ability to walk into a room and ask people to love you. You know,
I don't know what that's like as a comic at all.
Yeah, not at all. You didn't. Yeah.
No, you know exactly what that's.
No, we're very aware. Yeah, and
it's hard, especially when there's like two people sitting there.
Yeah, with no reaction. You know what I mean?
They're deadpan.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking, oh my God, am I tanking here? Am I doing well? What's going on? You know,
I mean,
auditioning is.
I feel like you should offer audition workshops online.
Well,
what a productive way to spend our time in lockdown.
Yeah, no, I know. I've been trying to think of things. I'm working on a show. It's called McGuire as Sanders Does Trump.
Oh, okay.
And Donald Trump wrote the text, and it's delivered by Bernie Sanders, and it's quite funny, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, Bernie Sanders! I thought you meant Colonel Sanders.
No.
That would be really funny too.
I know I look like Colonel Sanders, but
that's my.
No, it's Bernie. McGuire. Okay, so I should probably.
I'm gonna hang up now.
I should probably clarify. McGuire as Bernie Sanders does Trump. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Kevin,
you want to hear a little of it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Kevin, I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you to do a little.
All right, okay, windmills. I love windmills. Okay, I know everything there is to know about windmills. All right, I don't care. They give you cancer. All right, they give you cancer. I don't care. All right. I have cure. I have a cure for COVID. All right, take a needle, put it under your skin, put it into the vein, and shoot it in there. Some Clorox. It really is great. Then take a light bulb, put it up your ass, and light it up, and you'll be fine. You're gonna be totally cured. Okay, I don't care.
I don't care.
I
like that. Yeah.
Well, he's the Brooklyn guy, you know.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. I loved that. I would watch that show.
Art piece.
I would watch that show all day. I would watch that show all day. Kevin, thank you for coming on the show. I know I'm so happy to meet you. It's nice to meet you.
It is so nice to meet you both.
Yes.
And and I'll be back maybe for Christmas.
Will you please?
Yes.
Will you please come back? Yes. I'm
every once in a while, Kelly, I can check in with you about what's going on in New York.
I would love that. I'm going to insist on it, actually, because if you've met me, now we're friends.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
Of course. Yeah,
Kevin, thank you so much.
What he's doing.
Kevin, can they is there a place where people can find you online?
You mean like a website?
Yeah.
I don't really have a website.
You know why? Because you've been a professional actor for 41 years.
I've never needed one.
I mean,
but if you Google me, Kevin McGuire actor, there's a lot of stuff.
Oh, I'm going to, Kevin McGuire actor.
Kevin,
thank you so much for coming on the show. I love it. What a fun surprise guest. And guess what? This has been nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that was delightful. Yeah.
That was really impressive. Like, people don't understand who aren't actors or who aren't performers.
No.
Like, the amount of time you spend auditioning and going out for things. And it is not consistent work. You never know how long a show is going to last or when you're going to get your next gig. So to do that consistently for 40 years, never having to file unemployment, that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, when you brought up the nose, Karith, that's the biggest piece of the puzzle. Like, we are rejected all the time, and you do get a thick skin for it. And it's also kind of like, it doesn't feel great ever. And you have to do it again the next day.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Well, that was fun. That was a really fun guest. I was a little nervous because who's it going to be?
You handle that very well, considering somebody you don't know. But that is just I mean, that's who you are. And
I like meeting people.
You do. You're very sociable, and you connect well with. You play well with others.
I'm like a giant.
In school? Did you get that a lot in school?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I also got Kelly is a pleasure to have in class, which just means she's a shut up. I can't get a word in. This bitch needs to be quiet.
When did you know? Because you asked him a great question. Now I'm flipping the tables and I'm interviewing you. Now, when did you know you were going to be a comedian? Like, when did you know you were supposed to be on stage in front of people with a microphone? Because I remember when I knew.
So I have an early memory, and we've talked about this. I don't have a ton of childhood memories for some reason. I'm sure there's I'm sure at some point I'll figure it out, pack it completely. But I don't have a ton of memories. But the memories I have are very vivid. I have a memory of being in first grade, and I was in a pageant, like a Christmas pageant, like he was talking about, and we were singing. And I remember the person next to me nudged me. And so I went like this, like, yeah, I oughta. It was an accident, right? So I wasn't mad, but I was like, meh, meh, meh. And I got a big laugh. And I was like,
oh.
So then, of course, the entire pageant now, I didn't sing. I was like, meh, 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 and I kept doing it and getting a bigger laugh. And then, so I remember driving home from that and my mom being like, if you're performing, you need to be performing. And there's a time and a place for that. And I remember thinking, well, I want to find that place then. And that time, like, that's the time and place.
Let me get to that time and place.
So where is that time and place? Because I would really like to live in that time and place.
I'm so glad instead of being discouraged by that, I'm like, oh, I should have done that.
No.
Wait, there is a time and a place,
Yeah, they had to tell me that a lot. They had to tell me that a lot. There's a time and a place, Kelly. This is not it. I'd be like, when is it? And they're like, it's at home, quietly, without people seeing you. When did you know?
I was probably 3 or 4. And I remember watching Sesame Street. And there's a video of it out there. There's not of me, but of Grover interviewing this little brown boy sitting like in front of a brick wall. And he had a microphone and he was interviewing this little kid. And I was like, that should be me on that brick wall in front of the brick wall doing that. Like, that's supposed to be me.
I thought you were going to say you wanted to be Grover, the interviewer. And I was like, that should be you. I mean,
I could have been either. I went into broadcast journalism because I thought that was, my piece of being a beacon of light and truth. But yeah, that was not the route.
Well, you're right where you should be.
I am.
I'm excited. This show is ending up to be longer than I thought it was going to be. Folks at home, I hope you're still with us. Or if you're watching this on the replay, stick with it. We're coming to the end. This next segment is a segment that I call, how about that? This is where I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Originally, I was going to play my own music because, I play like dumb instruments. I can play a little bit. And then I realized I like to wear headphones when I'm on line shows. And I was like, they won't be able to hear my keyboard. So like I have my Casio, but I can't use it because you won't be able to hear it. So I think I'm the only talk show host who might have yelled to their spouse prior to showtime, "Hey, honey, have you seen my harmonica?" And the response was, "No, why do you need that?" And I was like, never mind. This next segment is called, how about that? And this is where we have a guest come on and do a special segment. And Matt, my producer, I believe we have an intro video for our guest for our special segment.
Hi, I'm Peg Nuts, and the Nut family has been in the business of nuts for generations before I even started Peg's Nuts. There's no family and no company that knows nutting more than the Nut family. And I'm here to tell you that we have perfected our nuts so that they won't leave any nut dust on your hands. We want you to feel like you can touch our nuts. When it comes to nuts, we know what people want. We know that when you reach your hand into a delicious bag of honey roasted peanuts, you don't want your hands to be covered with nut dust. Here at Peg's Nuts, we have perfected the nut culling so that none of Peg's Nuts will leave any nut dust on your hands. So come on, touch our nuts. We have every kind of nut. Almonds, cashews, other nuts, even peanuts. Our variety is enormous, but our guarantee is just the one, that you won't get any nut dust on your hands when you're eating Peg's Nuts. So from my family to yours,
touch our nuts!
Go ahead, touch our nuts.
Hi, Peg. Welcome, Peg Nuts.
Hello.
Peg, thank you for joining us today, Peg. I'm really excited to have you as a guest, and congratulations on your family having nuts, and so many nuts. I think you mentioned almonds and peanuts and other nuts, and that's really, really exciting.
Kelly, if I can tell you something even more exciting than what you think is exciting currently about nuts, is that my family recently relocated to California so we could get into the pistachio game.
Ooh.
And I'm proud to say that I am now on the Pistachio Association of California.
That's very exciting. Congratulations, Peg. That's amazing. Yeah, that's impressive. And I love that you won't get any nut dust. Your promo video is very well done, by the way, and I really love how it seemed to have some undertones to it of passion, like some passionate undertones. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Okay. Peg, tonight you're doing a special segment for us. Do you want to tell the viewers what it is?
Yes. So I'm a big reader, and recently my granddaughter, Sarah, she said, "You got to stop buying books, Grandma." So she got me to the Kindle, and I got, I'm a big romance reader. I don't know about your viewers, big Danielle Steele, Jude Devereaux fan. And there was a ton of books that I would love on the Prime, on the Kindle Prime Kindle.
Yeah, sure.
This is Peg's Picks, and I'm just going to review a romance novel that I recently read.
Excellent, excellent. Go ahead.
Okay. So this book was free, which what a steal. What a steal. And it's called Sugar. I don't know where my camera is.
That's fine. You're doing it. Okay, great.
It's called Sugar. And it's by C.M. Steele, which I thought was a suggestive name. Probably had to become a romance writer with a name like that. Am I right, Kelly?
That's true. And it's a pretty sexy name.
It's a sexy name. So this story is lovely. And I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but it's about Lucas and Lexi, also named Sugar. I don't think that's a nickname she had prior to meeting him in the coffee shop where they met on Valentine's Day. Can you believe it? What a good start to any romance novel is a good meet cute. And they were at a coffee shop and he saw her and she saw him. And honestly, I gotta say, he is immediately aroused physically.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. Yeah.
In the coffee shop?
In the coffee shop. He specifically thinks to himself that it's good he's wearing a trench coat on account of his enormous affection.
Fantastic. So they were hot and ready to go right from the start. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So he takes her out that night, but he can't get reservations. It's Valentine's Day.
Of course.
They gotta go to his house. But what's really great about this novel, I think, makes it stand out is his relationship with his family. We dedicate several pages to learning about Lucas's family and his stepmom. His mom died when he was 1, and his stepbrother, who's like the more fun-loving brother. He's very rich, by the way. I didn't mention that. I'm so sorry. I'm just so excited about the book. I'm skipping over big plot.
How do they make their money? Are they also in the nut game, or?
They're not. You know what? There's not as much money in the nut game as you would think.
Oh.
But he's a lawyer. His family owns a law firm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's a student. There is an age gap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How big? How big is the age gap?
She's 19 and he's 30.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean
back in my days, that wasn't anything back in my days. So I feel like I could easily walk past that.
Okay, good.
So they have I'm just so excited about love. So they go to his house for dinner. His mom cooks because he can't cook. So his stepmom cooks and he eats it. But I don't know spoilers, but I gotta tell you, they don't eat until after they have christened a couple surfaces in his home.
Oh, okay. So they go right to Pound Town.
Yeah, Kelly, they do. It was shocking. I thought we were going to have many chapters of them falling in love, and it was less than 2.
Less than 2. Oh.
Pretty immediate. Wow.
Yeah.
So okay, go on. So they're christening all these surfaces at the house. He's reheated a meal. They finally eat. I like to know people got their meal in.
They eat and then they eat again, if you know what I mean, Kelly.
Oh, I do. I do know what you mean. Karith, are you tracking this?
I'm following Miss Nuts. Yes.
Okay, great.
It was so hot and spicy. And here's the thing. She was a virgin.
Wow.
What are the odds? What are the odds?
Oh, and I gotta tell you, it went better for her than it did for me.
Oh, Peg. Well, doesn't it always, right?
I hope my husband Walter isn't watching.
So, Peg, what do they end up together? Is that what happens in this book?
You'll be shocked to know you do get it. You do get an HEA, happily ever after, in there at the end. And I believe he has knocked her up by St. Patrick's Day. And there is a great twist. There's a great twist in the book. I don't want to spoil it, but apparently her neighbor Cody has been stalking her. And when they return to her house after their night of passionate lovemaking, there is a man in her home cutting up her underwear. I didn't expect that, and I was a little scared. And I normally wouldn't spoil stories for anyone, but
Sure.
I was so scared in that moment that I want to make sure you guys know that it turns out okay.
Okay, good.
That's
Now, when
great.
he's cutting up the underwear, is it crotch? Is he cutting up the crotch of the panties or the sides?
Well, here's the thing. Apparently, I just know they were all cut up, and then Lucas, he's such a doll, tries to make her feel better by saying he was probably going to rip all her underwear anyway.
I have a comment on my Facebook party that says, "Did Lucas touch his nuts?"
Lucas did not touch his nuts, but I can say with certainty that Sugar touched his nuts a lot.
Okay, there we go.
And that he had nut dust where Peg's nuts,
Peg's nuts, no nut dust.
no nut dust.
I think you have a new career, Peg, like the nut reviews, right?
Yeah. Peg, you
Thank
are making me want to read this book. What is your closing thought and recommendation on,
Okay.
is it called Sugar? It's called Sugar, right?
It's called Sugar after the nickname he gives her at the coffee shop because she puts a lot of sugar in her coffee and while he's in erection.
While he has, okay, great. And
he has an erection most of the novel, Kelly.
And does it say that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they make sure that you're tracking that his erection.
You are aware of his state of arousal throughout the novel.
Great. And Peg, you're going to have more Peg's picks for us over the season of Genuine Nonsense, right?
I would love to keep reading. If anyone has suggestions of a book that they think I would like, you can email me at my Hotmail account. It's eggsnuts@hotmail.com.
Peg, you are a little spitfire and I just love it. What's your summary of the book? If you had to like sum up the book, if you were writing I'm in the bookstore and I open up the jacket and I read the recommendation, what does it say?
Oh, I gotta say, I would say a great novel for people who love coffee, twists, and erections.
Okay, that's perfect. Peg, thank you so much for coming on. We're gonna have you on again. Okay, I'm really excited.
It's been so fun. I've never been on TV other than
Oh, that was fun. Peg is a spitfire. I love that.
Peg's a winner there. I want to hear more about her nut empire.
I know. Well, we will in the future. I think she's going to come back on and review more books for us. I'm really butting up against time. This has been a long show. We're at 1 hour and 6 minutes. I like to close the show with a segment that I call Try Harder.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Try Harder is really just, it's a pick of something that I've chosen. And this week I've chosen 2 videos. A lot of people during the pandemic have been talking about how they've gained weight. I'm eating so much. And they're worried about it. And honestly, I think do anything to make yourself feel better, right? Do what you need to do to make yourself better and feel better, right? Don't stress about a few extra pounds because we've been in quarantine. I'll tell you who's not. This little girl. Yeah, she wants snacks. She wants them yesterday and she wants snacks. Yeah. And you know what? I'll tell you, it's not just little girls or babies who want snacks. There's also, we're just animals in pants. Animals want snacks.
No, you cannot.
Your breakfast is gone. Move on. No, you'll get more tonight at supper. You are not starving. No, you're not. You're on a diet.
No one likes to hear that. No one likes to hear they're on a diet.
No.
No one wants to hear it.
Listen. Cashew.
Cashew.
You're on a diet because you're a little chubby. Okay?
Rude.
Yeah. No.
He's giving her the business.
Do you? Hey,
Cashew's pissed.
Like
He's giving her the doggy
Yeah.
business.
Ice cube.
If he could talk, those would be curse words.
He's basically going, fuck off. I'm a little chunky. Who cares?
Right?
Give
Kobe
me
got
more.
cases for like how many pounds he put on while this happened.
Give me a little bit more kibble. He is jacked. That's correct, Lauren. Yeah. So I liked both those videos. Don't worry about your extra pounds during the pandemic, everybody. Okay? It's all going to come back. You're all going to be better in the future. And we're all doing great. If you got up today, you're winning. Okay? So be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. This has been our show. And I had the best time. It does run a little long. I'm going to work on that. And I hope you'll join us next week. Next week's an interesting week. In the spirit of being genuine and honest and full of nonsense, next week I will be prepping for a colonoscopy for the next day. So I'll have a guest host, backup host, Kathy Ferris, on the show next week to cover for me if I need to suddenly get up. And I'll let you know how it's going and I'll check in periodically. We have wonderful guests next week. Our guest next week is Mike Kaplan, a very funny, very talented Mike Kaplan. And I look forward to meeting my mystery guest. And we'll, of course, have our special segment. Karith Foster, thank you for joining us on Genuine Nonsense. And if you want to follow Karith, don't forget at Karith Foster or Karith.com. Thanks, everyone. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Good night.